This is the Fleming's left-hand rule for the direction of the force. According to Fleming's rule, if we stretch the forefinger, center finger and thumb of left hand mutually perpendicular to each such that the forefinger represent the direction of magnetic field, the center finger represent the direction of electric current, then the thumb represent the direction of force experienced by the charged particle. This is the Fleming's left hand rule. After that we have to discuss the Biot-Savart law. This is for the magnetic field intensity due to a current carrying conductor. For that, consider this XY is a current carrying conductor. In this the current I is flowing. Due to this conductor, this P is a point near this conductor where we want to find out the magnetic field intensity. The distance of point P from the current carrying conductor is suppose R. We are considering a small portion of this current carrying conductor, that is AB, this one, and the length of this small portion is dl. This angle is theta. So according to Biot-Savart law, the intensity of magnetic field dB is written because the magnetic field intensity is denoted by B, but here we are finding the intensity of magnetic field due to a small portion of the current carrying conductor. So therefore dB is proportional to I, dB is proportional to dl, dB is proportional to sin theta, and dB is inversely proportional to square of the distance, that is R square. On combining these four, we will get dB is proportional to IDL sin theta upon R square. When proportional is removed, we will get a constant K. So therefore dB is equal to K IDL sin theta upon R square. This is number one. But K is constant and it is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi. In CGS system, the value of mu 0 upon 4 pi is 1, and in SI system, the value of mu 0 upon 4 pi is 10 to the power minus 7. Therefore dB is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi into IDL sin theta upon R square. This is the Biot-Savart law for finding the magnetic field intensity due to a current carrying conductor. Today we are finding the magnetic field intensity on the axis of a current carrying circular coil. For that we will suppose this is a circular coil. In this coil the current I is flowing. O is the center of the coil. A we have supposed the radius. We will suppose a point P on the axis of the coil. The distance of the point P from the center of the coil is x, and the distance of the point P from a small portion of this coil, this is ABC, that distance we have supposed R. Another small portion we have supposed this is DEF. Now due to this small portion of current carrying coil ABC, the intensity of magnetic field is dB, and similarly due to the second small portion of the current carrying coil, the intensity is dB. Now this dB are having two different direction, but we know the intensity is vector quantity, so it can be resolved. So its resolved part, this is dB sin phi, this is dB cos phi. Similarly the resolved part of this dB, that is dB cos phi, and this is dB sin phi. This dB cos phi and dB cos phi are acting just opposite. One is acting vertically upward and another is acting vertically downward, so they cancel each other, and this dB sin phi are added. For finding the total intensity, that is denoted by B, will be equal to integral of dB sin phi. Now by Biot-Savart law, you know dB is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi into IDL sin theta upon R square, but you know theta is equal to 90 degree, therefore sin theta will be equal to 1, and therefore dB will be equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi into IDL upon R square. In triangle BOP, sin theta will be equal to sin phi will be equal to a by r. So therefore, substituting this value of dB and sin phi in equation 1, we will get b is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi into ideal upon r square into a by r. From this integration, mu 0 upon 4 pi into ia upon r cube is taken out, and inside the integral there is dl. But integral of dl is equal to 2 pi a, because dl is a small portion of the current carrying coil, and integral of that is the circumference of the coil, and circumference will be equal to 2 pi a. So therefore b will be equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi into ia upon r cube into 2 pi a. Therefore b will be equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi into 2 pi ia square upon r cube. This is the formula for intensity of magnetic field on the axis of a current carrying circular coil. It can be written for n turns in the coil. Suppose there are n turns in the coil, then the formula will be written b is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi into 2 pi nia square upon r cube. Now in triangle BOP, by Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse square is equal to perpendicular square plus base square. So r square will be equal to a square plus x square. Therefore r cube will be equal to a square plus x square raised to power 3 by 2. This value of r cube is substituted in this one. So we will get b is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi into 2 pi ia square upon a square plus x square raised to power 3 by 2. And for n turns, it can be written mu 0 upon 4 pi into 2 pi nia square upon a square plus x square raised to power. Today we are discussing the motion of a charged particle in a uniform magnetic field. For that, consider this is a three-dimensional axis system: x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. In that, the direction of uniform magnetic field is this one along x-axis, and the intensity of magnetic field is B. In this magnetic field, a charged particle moving with velocity v, making an angle theta with the direction of magnetic field. As you know, the velocity is a vector quantity, so it will be resolved into two parts. Its horizontal component along the direction of magnetic field, that is v cos theta, and vertical component is v sin theta, that is perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. We can suppose v cos theta will be equal to v1 and v sin theta will be equal to v2. Now according to the formula, F will be equal to qvb. F, that is acting on this charged particle, will be equal to q into v2 cross b, cross product of v2 and b. Therefore it can be written F will be equal to qv2b sin 90, because the angle is of 90 degree, and you know sin 90 is equal to 1. Therefore F will be equal to qv2b. But you can see the charged particle is in circular motion, so therefore centripetal force will be acting on it, and that centripetal force will be equal to mv2 square upon r. This is equation number 2, this is equation number 1. So from equation 1 and 2, mv2 square upon r will be equal to qv2b. This v2 and v2 cancel, so v2 will be equal to qbr upon m. This r is cross multiplied. But you know v2 is equal to omega r, because linear velocity is equal to angular velocity into radius. So in place of v2 we can write omega r is equal to qbr upon m. This r and r cancel, so therefore omega will be equal to qb upon m. But omega, angular velocity, will be equal to 2 pi nu. Nu is frequency, so therefore 2 pi nu is equal to qb upon m. This 2 pi is cross multiplied, so nu will be equal to qb upon 2 pi m, and the reciprocal of frequency is time period, so therefore time period will be equal to 2 pi m upon qb.